great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode 647. Can you believe it? Of the Immigration Answer Show. We're trucking towards episode 650, which will hit in just a few days. On our way to 700. How is everybody doing? What's going on with you? How long has your USCIS case been pending? Are they driving you crazy? They're not giving you answers. They're not answering the 1-800 number. They're not letting you do InfoPass. Do you guys know that up until Trumpalicious, you could make an appointment on the USCIS website for your local town and go downtown and talk to somebody about your case? It's called customer fucking service. Can you believe that they offered this as a service just 6 or so years ago? You could actually do it all online, schedule it. You could even schedule it right there at USCIS. You just had to go outside and put in your information. How much better would people's immigration experience be if the Biden team, the pro-immigrant team, the, hey, we're the Democrat team, decided to make life easier for immigrants and actually for the agency by letting there be actual communication between the people applying for benefits and the people deciding whether or not you get benefits? It's a simple solution. It's a simple thing. Why? I'll tell you why they haven't brought it back. Because when a government agency either gets a power or is relieved of an obligation, it's very, very hard to get them to let go of that power or to take that obligation back. I can't think of a good reason why InfoPass hasn't been brought back as robustly as it has. There is a convoluted way in certain limited circumstances where you can make an InfoPass. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, and maybe I'll do a post about this tomorrow, what I'm talking about is going back to the way it was, where you could actually sit across the window from a human being who worked for USCIS, and they could pull up your case and talk to you about your case. They want everything to be on these online alerts that are wrong half the time. They don't want to let you talk to anybody who really knows what's going on about your case. I mean, I would venture to guess that 95% of the people who call the 1-800 number don't get an answer to their question. I think that's why this show is sort of popular, because people can get answers here in the hypothetical world that we talk about cases when they can't get it either from USCIS or maybe even their own lawyers, because a lot of time the answer is just wait. Again, in the list of things that I'll believe it when I see it, if I see them bring back InfoPass, if I see processing times go down, then I know there's people in the agency who actually care about their performance. Nobody's judging their performance. They'd asked for a bunch more money from Congress last year. They got some of it. They published a significant fee increase that went into effect on April 1st, 2024. Has anybody's cases started going faster? Maybe a couple. But overall, this system is so broken. And I know that USCIS head honchos aren't thinking about making it better. I really hope, if the Democrats are lucky enough to win the White House, that whomever Kamala Harris brings in to run USCIS is not part of the same old tired ass, raggedy ass head of USCISs that we've seen since Alejandro Mayorkas was in charge of USCIS. Now he's in charge of Homeland Security. We need to clear out all these Obama people, clear out any remnants of the Clinton people. There's still some of these bastards around. I'm not talking about civil servants. I'm talking about the political appointees at the top of the agency, and they really need to be educated on how crappy there's nowhere in the real world would any company be able to survive with the terrible. Can you imagine if USCIS was a soccer team? If USCIS was a soccer team, they'd be relegated to whatever lowest level there is in the soccer league. They're terrible, and nobody's talking about it other than to complain about their particular case. Nobody's taking a global view. And of course, if we don't try, if we don't say out loud, if we don't admit we have a problem, as they say in step 1 of Alcoholics Anonymous, if we don't admit the truth, then things aren't going to get better. And if people of good conscience don't start putting pressure on members of Congress to really fix USCIS and the president, there's so much that a president could do without Congress to make USCIS better, but nobody's paying attention because nobody cares. They just raise their fees and they just do their thing. And this is not to disparage any particular USCIS officers. I'm talking about the institution as a whole. All right. With that being said, I'm going to welcome some people to the show. Hello, Tyrone. Cleon's watching from Trinidad. We got Whistling, Felicia. Creaky Bones is in Oregon. Kyle's here. Mina's here. I'm not really reading the comments themselves. Michael's here. Wanse's here. Nurse Laura's here. MDDS is here. Syra is here, as she so often is. Tuskegee 1 is here. Patricia. Rich. Yeah, Rich, we're starting early today. I got to do some things. Wednesdays are going to be early. I like doing it early. I don't like doing shows at 4 so much. I'll still do them then. But once softball starts, which is like in 2 or 3 weeks, we won't be having 4 o'clock shows unless Nor doesn't have a game. So it's like a pretty condensed schedule, 3 or 4 weeks of games, but we'll be taking some time off, or we'll be doing the shows in the mornings or lunchtime. Wendy's here. Vishnu's here. Temi, how you doing, buddy? How you doing, boss? Silent Traveler, Abel. TNT to the H-Town, always giving the love. Geraldine's here. Can I hear a big, can I get a big up for all the Yardies? Hello. Any Yardies here? Carolyn's here, as she often is. Hello, Carolyn. Nurse Laura, I already said. Ochama wants to know, will Trump end the diversity visa? Well, yes, he will, because he won't have the State Department process those cases just like they didn't last time. All right. Rocio's here, fixing lunch. Big Phoenix, there's that big up to all the Yardies. Thank you, Big. I'm Phoenix. M-Con, Island Drone, Rick is here. Andrea's here. We got another one. P is in Houston. Kosi, there's Rocio saying hello. I'm scrolling all the way down. The Yardies are always here. Thank you, Island Drone. And, did you guys see the men's 1500 yesterday? And I guess what was the one that the Jamaican guy came in second when it was the photo finish? Was that? Oh, that was the 100 meter dash. Was that it? It was fun to watch. The U.S. guy who came from behind to win that 1500 yesterday. If you guys haven't watched it, it's incredible. The Olympics have been great. Don't burn your lunch, Rocio. All right, Danny, first in line. Are you there, Danny?
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for this opportunity. I have a question regarding H1B Cap Gap. So I'm an F1 student. My I-20, it's not expiring until next year. But I had applied for H1B based on my last degree and it's approved. But I cannot start working until October 1st. And so in the meantime, how do I maintain status? Do I have to go to school until October 1st?
Yes.
Okay. So even if it's like 6 weeks into the school and then I start working, I still have to go to school, right?
I mean, in theory, you could file a change to a B1, B2, but I would say you're so close to an H1B, do whatever you can to stay in status on the F1 and then just change over to the H1B.
Okay, so just one follow-up question. So, the way my program work is like 8-week classes. So it has a 8-week classes. So I can only take like 1 or 2 in first 8 weeks. So it's kind of not full time. And I take another like one classes in second 8-week classes. But by the time my H1B will kick in,
Well, in order to maintain your H1B, or in order to maintain your F1, you have to go full time. So you have to do everything you can to stay in status all the way through till October 1st.
Okay, so just take all the 3 classes in the first 8-week semester.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye, Danny. See you, bud.
Yes.
All right, Judson, are you driving or are you parked? Judson, parked. All right.
Parked.
Hi,
How are
Judson.
you?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good, Jim. I have a question for you. Now my case is approved, like my I-360 is approved, and I'm still don't know anything what's gonna happen now, because my lawyer doesn't give me any information, and I'm start get so mad with her. It's possible now everything approved, like the I-360 is approved. I can hire another lawyer, or I
Sure.
just keep. Can I do that?
Sure.
I want to talk to you about it, and I want to
Okay.
call you later about it, because I don't have no
Yeah.
information what's going on in my case, So
Just
it's
email us a copy of the application and the approval notice, and then we'll talk about that. Talk after that with your contact info.
because it's been 8 months. It just showed me like biometrics and nothing else,
Well, cool. We'll take a look. Send me the timeline in your email, and then we'll tell you if you think it makes sense to make a change.
Okay, how should I do that right here?
info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Just send us an email.
Okay, I'll send to you.
Bye,
And
Judson.
all right, thank you.
Bye, buddy.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Yep, bye. All right, let's go to Abdul Rahman. Hello.
Hey Jim, how good to see you. It's so nice to see you. I do have a question. I'm talking on behalf of my friend who had an H1B. His job actually terminated him about 55 days ago. I think he only got 5 days left in his grace period, which is the 60 days. And on top of that, he had already applied before on EB3 unskilled visa. He got his I-140 approved. And now he's trying to find the best way he doesn't, kill that process, to make it still approvable, to make it still, an approvable case. So he was thinking of switching to B1, B2 because he was not able to find the job instead of the one he terminated him. That's option 1 I want to ask you about. Option 2, if that's option 1, if you don't recommend it, what about he goes back to Jordan and the people who apply for the EB3 for him, the unskilled, they said we could apply for you what's called I-824 form. So that way we could still hire you on the unskilled EB3 visa, but you would still need to leave the United States, and then we apply for you I-824, and then you would come back to the US.
Why is this person waited to do anything until the 55th day of his grace period?
I mean, honestly, because he got multiple interviews. He thought things could work out, but then it turns out people who gave him some hope, nobody just hired him.
Got it. So the how far away is the priority date from becoming current on the I-140?
He does not know. I mean, his I-140 is approved. It got approved last year,
But what's
but
the
he
priority?
doesn't. I don't know. The priority date is they told him the priority date is current, but he's waiting on the visa bulletin, I think.
Well, right.
But
So the final action date for employment-based EB3 or category, or depending on, you said he's from Jordan, so December of 21. So he would have to wait until his I-140 receipt date is current in order to start the immigrant visa process.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's a thing. What was his job on the H1B? And
in the H1B, he was a project manager. He has a bachelor engineering from Jordan, and he has a management certificate from the US, and that's how he was hired on the H1B.
And what is the EB3 position that he wants to do?
It's unskilled. Like the EB3 position is something like unskilled worker. It's something,
I understand that's the category, but what is the actual job that this engineer is saying he's qualified to do under the EB. What I'm saying, well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm worried they might use his H1B against him and say this job. I mean, what I want to know is the EB3 job related at all to the job that he did?
His EB3 is machine operator.
Does he have any experience being a machine operator?
I mean, he does have some experience. Even when he was working as an H1B, he was not technically on EB3, but technically he was performing some machine supervision, and yes, he does have experience on that.
My spidey sense is tingling. I think this guy is being a little clever. Here's a question.
Yeah.
What's his relationship to the people that sponsored him for the EB3?
He has no relationship. I mean,
why did they pick him? Why did they go through the process?
I mean, he applied through a company who would find EB3 jobs for people in the US. It's a third party company who would help people find an EB3 job, and they helped him find this company, and this company now is willing to hire him, but until he gets his paperwork done.
I'm not liking any of this. I'm not liking this story at all. I think that so let's pretend you were the applicant, then you just told me that story. Okay. So you said, well, he was doing some supervising of mechanical work when he was on his H1B. So that starts making me think, did he have a second job?
Look, Jim, please.
Let me finish. Was he working outside his H1B? Was he doing work that wasn't really what they said he was going to do on his H1B? Are these companies related at all?
No, they're not related at all. But he just texted me. He said he had an internship as a machine operator he had an internship before he came to the US 3 years ago, and he came through something called work and travel. He had some internship for 3-4 months, and then he went back. He maintained his status, and then he came back to the US as an F1. He finished his certificate in management, and then he got this H1B job.
I don't like what I've heard. I don't like the idea of working with a third-party company that finds people EB3 jobs. That sounds really shady to me. I think the embassy in Jordan is going to give him a hard time. But all that being said, I think he's better off leaving now than applying for a change of status to B1, B2, because and it's impossible for me to tell because his priority date might be current in 2 weeks or might not be current for a year and a half. So a B1, B2 doesn't do him any good if he's...
How long does the B1, B2 serve him?
6 months.
Okay. Now he's honestly going back to Jordan is a really difficult
I know.
option.
Right. I understand. But I mean, all that this all ties in together because the layoff on the H1B, the sponsorship for the green card, this is the kind of stuff that piques their interest and they start digging around and things go badly. I don't think this is going to end well for your friend. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's not going to end well.
So what is your best advice? Leaving the United States?
And don't hold his breath that he's going to get that immigrant visa on the EB3. Hopefully, inshallah, he will, but I think it's a 40% chance of things going badly, 60% chance he gets the visa. It all sounds sort of sus to me.
But if he leaves, would that improve the chance? If he stays in the country,
It depends what his priority date is. If his priority date is going to be current next month, then I might be okay with a change from H1B to, an H1B to a B1, B2 filed 5 days before his grace period ends. I would have done it a long time ago.
Yes.
But, if his priority date isn't going to become current for a year or a year and a half, then yeah, he's got to go.
So B1, B2, any quick advice? How would he do it? Is it difficult? How easy? Does it need a lawyer? How should it be done?
Well, I think overall he needs a lawyer to analyze this whole thing. But no, a change of status, he would just file an I-539 to change from an H1B to a B1, B2.
And that's it? He would just send it to the USCIS, pay the fees, and then
get
it on file before the grace period comes in?
Yeah, but TikTok, Manitowoc, 5 days isn't very much.
Yeah, I see. So I'll let him do it then as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye, Abdul Rahman. See you, buddy.
Take care.
All right. Oh, Huli. Who was I supposed to call in today? Are they here or no? Remember from yesterday you told me I was supposed to call in someone? They're not here. Okay, perfect. Let's go to Rocky. Hello, Rocky.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm talking to you. How are you doing?
Good. Just at work.
Oh,
I have a quick question. I received my green card in May. It was a marriage-based green card.
in May of 24?
Yes, sir. This year.
Okay.
Yes, I submitted my documents. I think it was in October of last year, and I received it in May. And I realized that maybe I'm overreacting and I'm just like overthinking this.
Okay.
Could be nothing, but I have a middle name and I have a second last name.
Yeah.
But they didn't put my middle name. They just put the initial in my green card. Is that standard or it has to have my full middle name?
It doesn't matter. It's totally fine. And if you want to do anything with your name, you can do it when you become a citizen. I would just leave it alone for now. I wouldn't mess with it at all.
Yes, no. It's just that they just put the initial of my middle name.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, that's great.
It's fine. As long as it's the right initial and,
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about that at all.
Okay. And they hyphenated my both last names, though. They put that little dash.
Okay, so did they do that because they made a mistake, or they did that because you put that on the form?
I didn't make that mistake. My last names are not hyphenated.
Yeah.
I had an attorney to do everything.
Yeah.
But they did put both of my last names as if they were hyphenated. So I'm thinking that it's a mistake on their end. But my driver's license has a hyphen also.
Because of your green card or because of something else?
No, it's not common here for people to have two last names unless they're hyphenated, I guess. But my passport, there's no hyphen there.
I don't think anybody's gonna get worked up over this, like not let you into the United States or not let you get a job or anything like that. So, if your lawyer made a mistake and put a hyphen on your 485 and you don't like that and you want them to change it, you could tell them, hey, you guys made a mistake. You guys fix this. I'm not paying for it. Or you could just let it go and, just make sure that when you become a citizen that they get everything the way you want it. It's totally your call.
Okay. I'm just scared, that they're going to give me some trouble when I come back in.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I think that was it. Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye, Rocky. Have a good day.
You too. Good to see you.
Yeah, bye. All right, let's go to Sohail. Hi, Sohail.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
Great, man. Great.
Thank you. I know you have heard this a lot from me and many other people. First of all, thank you for everything you have done for me.
Sure.
I couldn't be here without your help. I have a very simple question. Not simple, but I didn't know what to do. I received a notice from USCIS about my H1B B1 approval. Meanwhile, I have an OPT application. So at this point, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Should I contact my university to end my service ID and then switch to the H1B, or that automatically happens? And secondly, should I contact USCIS and withdraw my OPT application at this point?
So you have OPT approved?
Yes. Man, I still haven't received the official notice, but from my receipt on their website and what's the name of it? Their app, I received the notification that my H1B is approved. They said it's rendered.
Yeah. So when did you graduate?
I will graduate on August 16th next week. next Friday.
And what degree will you get in August?
PhD in media.
So your H1B selection wasn't based on your PhD. It was based on an earlier degree that you had.
No, my H1B is going to be for my job. It is an academic job, which I will start this month in August 26th.
Oh, because it's a cap exempt job. It's not an
Yes.
first job. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I would wait until. Do you have the I-94 for your H1B yet, or no? You're going to get it. Does the school have it?
For the OPT or for the H1B?
Mm-hmm.
For the H1B, they still haven't sent us the notice. It was approved on the website only 2 days ago.
Okay, so you're not going to do anything until the school, the employer, gives you your I-94.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do anything with your F1, anything with your CVIS. Once you is the school that you got your OPT from also the school that's hiring you?
No, it's my
places.
current school.
2 different places. Yeah.
Yes, 2 different places.
Okay, so what I would do is once you've changed status and you have that I-94, the actual card, which you'll put in your passport, once you have that, you'll send a copy of that to your international student advisors from the OPT school, notify them that you're on an H-1B, and ask them to terminate your CVIS record.
I see. Then at this point,
you don't have to do anything with your OPT application. Just let that go.
Okay. So
you could withdraw it, but that's just going to confuse them. I think I would just leave that alone.
I see. Then at this point, I just wait for the university, the employer, to send me that I-94. Then I submit that to my current school, and they will terminate the CVIS if I understand.
Yeah, and I would probably wait not only till when I get the I-94, but till when I actually start the job. So, I don't know if they're going to give that to you on your first day of work, or if they're going to give it to you on a Friday and you start on Monday. I would wait. I might even wait a whole week till I'm working at the job until I notify. There's no rush to notify the school.
The previous school, you mean the OPT school?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim.
I'm glad you got the H1B.
Yes, I'm really happy, and hopefully we can turn that to a green card. So
what is your field of study?
Media and public affairs.
Oh yeah, you said that. Awesome. Well, great. Congrats. Good luck, bud.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You got it. All right. This is the Immigration Answer Show. Robert is predicting a Chargers versus Rams Super Bowl. I guess football is around the corner. We are in the preseason time. I probably won't worry about football until after the Olympics, at least. I'm going to the Cardinal game tonight. Haven't been in a while. Got front row seats from my great brother-in-law and sister. I'm very excited about that. So we're going to go see the Cardinals play the Devil Rays, or the Tampa Bay Rays, as they're known now. CD, what you got? You're on mute.
Hey, Jim. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I have a VAWA case. It's been pending 3.1 years now. The PD is June 5th, 2021.
Okay.
And the I-765 and the I-360 was submitted to USCIS June 7th of 21. And the I-485 was submitted on June 21 of 21.
But the 360 hasn't been approved.
No.
Okay.
And I did biometric on September 10 of 2021, which is for the I-765 and the I-485.
Okay.
And in August 27, 2022, I got the work permit approved. And from there on, I haven't got any updates. But I do got about 3 prima facies. So I'm wondering, do you think anything is wrong based on, it's been pending for so many years?
3 years and a month or 2 is exactly what we're hearing. So I think this is right on time, and I think you'll probably get a decision in the next 90 days.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think you're right on. I mean, as absurd as it sounds, the 360s that we've seen and that we've filed, they are all taking a little bit, just a nudge over. Some might say, like you did, 3.1 years. I think you're right on it. So I think it should be pretty soon.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
ICD, good luck.
Thanks.
You too. All right, Melissa's here. Hello, Melissa.
Hi there. How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I'm getting in touch because I have been going through my green card process for quite a few years, and a couple of weeks ago I lost my job, but then a week after my I-485 got approved. However, my priority date is one of those priority dates that recently retrogressed, so it's technically not current, and I don't know what that means.
So this is tricky. So it's an employment-based green card.
Mm-hmm.
You lost the job basically 5 days before they approved it.
Yeah. I was originally just planning on porting because I'd already been through the process for over 6 months. I was planning on just porting my job offer
to a new employer and getting a 45J. Yep.
Yeah.
I would what I would recommend is that you do a FOIA from your USCIS file.
Yeah.
So it's called a G639. Go online. I wouldn't do anything right now. Do you have the actual green card in hand?
It's being mailed to me as we speak.
And I assume that at some point you're going to want to become a U.S. citizen, right?
More likely than not.
Yes.
Potentially.
Certainly we want to keep that as a possibility. So what we need to figure out is whether or not your green card is legally valid or it's invalid, right?
Okay.
So, that's not going to be an easy thing to determine, and it might be a situation where you have to decide to yourself. I mean, one thing we might do is notify them of the time frame that you just said, and at least we put them on notice now that that's what happened, to see if they want to revoke the green card. Not that that's what you want to happen.
If it has to happen, it is what it is,
Yeah. So what I would do is I would take our time. I would get the complete file from USCIS, see if there's things in there that internally show that it was approved while you were still employed, or that you're before the dates retrogress, to see if we have something to play that if we wait and don't talk to anybody about it and then apply. What we don't want to do is 5 years from now apply for your citizenship and then they say, oh, you never should have gotten your green card. And by that point, you don't even have a basis for a green card anymore, and you're sort of screwed. I've seen that movie before. That's the worst thing that could happen. You're wise enough to call me and ask and be concerned about the legal validity of this green card. A lot of people just don't, and they just say, woohoo, I got my green card. Good thing right before I got fired, or right around the time I got fired. You didn't get fired, laid off. And woohoo, aren't I lucky? And I'll be sitting pretty when I get my citizenship. But then if they go back and look at everything. So what I would say, if I were you, what I would do is I would do a FOIA, and I would have a law firm, us or somebody else, review the whole thing and tell you whether or not we think this green card is valid or invalid, and then decide how to proceed after that. Okay, great. That's exactly what I've done, because I thought that was the case. So thank you for that clarification. The next question I have, the reason why I found out this was an issue was I'm part of a USCIS group on Reddit, and I posted my situation, and I was added to this Telegram group of about 70 other people that have a similar priority date to me, EB3 or EB2 classification, were part of the situation where they got their, they were current for a period of time this year, be it 2, 3, or 4 months, then retrogressed, and then in July have now received their approvals. So there's about 70 of us at least that are in this situation. Does that mean that it's probably, because there's so many of us, probably going to be okay? I think that's good information to have. I think it's a good sign that things are on solid ground. You could never raise that as a defense if they don't naturalize you, but to me that's a sign that USCIS does things in a different way that everybody doesn't really know. In other words, because it's a really tricky thing with retrogression and visas becoming available and unavailable. And my understanding is that there's a time, I said this on the show the other day, my understanding is there's a time where USCIS goes out and grabs visa numbers from the State Department and holds them for people whose applications are a certain stage in the process. My understanding also is that the visa still has to be available when they adjudicate it, but I think they hold. This would be a good question for a USCIS officer. If only there were some watching the show, which there are. If only, I mean, this would be a good thing for me to figure out. Like we have in the American Immigration Lawyers Association, they have like a liaison, and sometimes they'll have these like town halls where you can present them a question. This would be a good thing to either find out or to litigate, one or the other.
Right. The next question I have is, I've contacted the Department of State to see what date they might have allocated my visa.
Look at you.
I'm literally trying everything I can.
You're doing great. You're doing everything right. You're doing great.
Okay, so that was a good move. Okay, cool.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Well, those are all my questions. If you have any more ideas, I'd really appreciate it.
Send me an email so I know where you are, and I'll talk to some people here in the office.
Great. Okay. Can I find your email online?
It's right there. It's info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye, Melissa. Yep. See ya. All right. That was an interesting one. Mercy's here. Hello, Mercy.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Okay, thank you. So I have a quick question. I wanted to find out because I got a 4-year extension to my green card. It's a marriage-based green card. So my husband and I are trying to figure out when do we apply for citizenship.
Great question. So when were you eligible to file the I-751?
The I-750, when was I eligible?
Or you can just tell me the start date on your 2-year green card.
October 1st.
Of what year?
Of 24. Because it expired last year, so they
23.
extended it.
So you've been a green card holder since October 1st of 21.
Yes.
Okay. So that means, that's the 10th month. So you can apply for citizenship right now.
Oh, okay.
You're still married. Everything's cool with the marriage. You've lived together the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the dealio. Let me walk you through our thinking. So believe it or not, in the old days, when we did 751s, do you know how long they took to get approved? 2 months. 2 months to get approved. But Trump put in all this anti-fraud BS. And so now they take 4 years and you get that 4-year extension letter instead of just getting an approved 751. There's a whole lot more rigmarole and stuff. So when it first started happening, I told people, well, you should probably wait until they approve the 751 to apply for citizenship, right? Because, they have to approve the 751 before you can actually become a citizen. So for a really long time, people were having problems because the 751s were taking longer. They would still apply for citizenship, and then they'd show up they get an interview notice, and it would say naturalization, but they said, we got to do your 751. Where's your spouse, right? So then we started telling people to wait. But then because 751s take so long, there's no way I'm waiting 2 or 2.5 years to apply for citizenship when I can. And in fact, the act of filing for citizenship will probably speed up your 751. In other words, what we're seeing now is people in your shoes who've been waiting about a year on the 751, they're going ahead and applying for citizenship. And even though if they hadn't applied for citizenship, it would take 2 years or 2 years and 2 months to get the 751 approved, the naturalization cases are being pushed pretty quickly. So you'll get an interview notice for the N400, and then they'll say, oh, like I would tell you, bring your spouse, be ready to prove up the marriage, and then you just do it all at once. Okay. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So my vote is go ahead and apply for citizenship.
Okay. Can I retain your office for that?
Oh, sure. Just send us an email. Just say, this is Mercy. I was on the show with Jim at about the 36-minute mark, and we'll go from there.
Okay. And then you can let me know what the requirements are.
Yeah, we can hop on a call with me or one of the attorneys, and we can get you all set up.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye, Mercy. See ya.
Oh.
All right. Corey asked if Corey could go next. Corey, go ahead.
Hi, Jim. I recently came across your your YouTube channel, so I just learned about you and how you guys are helping us like with our problems. So I applied for asylum in December of 2019, and I was living in South Carolina at the time. I moved to New Jersey in when I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I wasn't getting much help from my attorney, just like one of your previous guest was talking about, and he submitted my documents. He asked me if everything was okay. He had submitted them to the New York office, and going through it with my friends, because I'm preparing for the interview now, because I'm also like doing a mandamus lawsuit, so I could have my interview in like 5 months.
That's right. Or sooner.
Yeah, which freaks me out. Going through going through like my affidavits, because that's all I have to support my case.
Yeah.
My friends, my 3 friends sworn testimonies and my own affidavit, and there are many problems in my personal affidavit. I don't think it like would disqualify me. It's things like, for example, my case is based on my sexuality, and I'm like trying to leave my country because of that.
Yeah.
What was it? There are inconsistencies like years, where I said I came out in 2016 or 17, but my friend said I came out in 2016. And then like going over things I actually found that I actually came out in 2016. So there are things like that I need to correct. I was wondering if and then also my other friend, she spoke about things that happened, but I barely remember. So that even if they ask me questions about that, I'm concerned that I may come across like not credible, which could cause me to get denied. So that's my kind of worry.
Well, so first of all, your friend who put things in the affidavit that remembers things that you don't remember as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I remember vaguely.
Could you talk to that friend and refresh your recollection? Like if you talk the whole story, would that help you remember more? That's okay.
Well, I've tried to do that with her, but she said she barely remembers, but she basically said that there are instances where I could have been physically attacked. And I remember like 2 instances, and that's it. And I'm sure other things happened, but that's all I remember.
Well, could have been is tricky. Could have been doesn't sound. I mean, could have been physically assaulted. You mean like you were in a position where they might have done it, or you could have been and she doesn't remember?
Wait, can you repeat that?
Sure. So if somebody says Corey could have been assaulted or beaten up, that could have been sort of translates into 2 things for me. One is could have been like, yeah, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Or he was in a position where he could have been assaulted, where it looked like they were getting ready to beat him up. Does that make sense? So it sounds like your lawyer was sort of sloppy overall. Is that fair?
I guess.
And one of the things that we like to include a lot first of all, the problem with little inconsistencies is asylum. The number one thing in asylum, I should do a video on this. The number one thing on asylum is credibility.
Yeah.
And accuracy. So you need to be precise with your asylum case. You can't be loosey-goosey. You can't be misstating dates and all that stuff. That's one piece. And then what about is it known in your home country? Like would the US government recognize that in your home country it's a big problem to not be heterosexual, right? Like
I'm from Jamaica. So
what do they do to people from Jamaica that are gay?
Well, you cannot be open about your sexuality. So if you'll get mob attacked. Like this is in like resource. I don't remember what. There's somebody who was, I think Brian Manning. He was talking about like the U.S. Department, the U.S. Justice Department, or somebody. They have like reports, country reports.
Yep.
And there was one thing that said like if you are open about your sexuality, if you're found like engaging in like intimacy with somebody of the same sex, so you'll be mob attacked.
If they saw you kissing somebody in a bar that was of the same sex, they'd attack you.
Yeah, that you'll be mob attacked.
And so the State Department sort of has documented that in their human rights reports.
Correct.
Good. So hopefully your attorney would have not just included affidavits from you and your friends, but would have included that evidence as well, right?
Yeah, he has a whole like case study, country information.
Yeah, that's good. That's
behind
good.
my thing.
So then we get to the question of the issues in the statements themselves. I mean, one thing that sometimes freaks people out when they go to their asylum interview is the officer gets out the red pen, right? And on the asylum application itself, they'll go through and make corrections, and they'll circle each one. And at the end, they'll say, Corey, I made 17 corrections to your I-589, and they'll go through them all with you. And then they'll have you initial either the bottom of the page or each correction or the total at the end. And that sort of freaks people out. But that's actually a good thing. They want to get the story straight, right?
Yeah.
With statements, that's going to be tricky because those friends of yours aren't going to be in the interview. So what I would suggest is that you and your lawyer go over and you tell them where all the corrections are made. And then I would put something, I would edit the statements, and I would put a statement at the top that says, my name is Joe and I'm Corey's friend. And this was my affidavit, but my affidavit had 3 mistakes. On paragraph 8, it said 2016 when it should have said 2018. On paragraph 27, it said Kingston instead of Andersonville, right? So you know what I mean? Like you need to nail that shit down so that when you go into that interview, you know your stuff, your record is clean, and the documents are accurate.
So do they basically like, well, of course they'll rewrite, they'll put at the top.
Well, I mean, there's lots of different, your lawyer can do it however they want. What I would do is I would probably create an amended affidavit for each person.
I think it's just one. I think it's just one person whose affidavit like worries me.
So just nail it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 more questions. So I'll be good. I'm sorry.
Go for it. It's all good.
Do you know any like places where I can get like more? Because I'm practicing with my friends now, like questions that I could get asked during the interview. Do you know any like places where I can get more questions for possible?
So number one, have your friends read you every single question from the I-589. Every single question. Did you also submit an affidavit?
Yes.
So have them ask you questions related to everything in your affidavit. Because here's the thing. That officer is hopefully going to read your application before, number one. Number two, which is your Newark Asylum office, did you say?
Yes.
So I would imagine that being on the East Coast, this officer or that office have had a fair number of asylum cases from Jamaica based on sexual orientation. So in other words, you probably won't be the first person that they've handled an asylum case from Jamaica based on sexual orientation, right? So they're going to want to cut to the chase really quickly. And what I mean by that is they're going to want to get to the details of your case. They're not going to want to hear about some mob attack that happened in Kingston in 2022. Like, you should assume they know all that stuff. They're going to want to know about you. We had a long time where we were doing a lot of Iraqi, like guys who had worked with the U.S. government filing for asylum. And man, those officers, they knew Iraq backwards and forward, and they didn't want to hear anything about the general conditions for people in Iraq. It's the same thing with any case type, unless it's something really obscure. But on this show, we've talked a lot about the discrimination that gay people experience in Jamaica. So I think you can anticipate they're going to want to get to your situation. So those things that you sort of remember, those are the most important things. Those things that actually happened to you, or the things that you think would happen to you if you go back. Of course, the best way to prove the likelihood of future persecution is by showing past persecution.
And that's one of my questions too, because the only time I've ever been physically attacked for my sexuality was when I was being beaten by my mother. I was engaging in homosexual sex acts, and I was beaten like really bad. I ran under my bed. She got a broom and she was shoving it under the bed, and I was fearful that she was going to like push my eyes out with the broom. So I came out.
How old were you?
I was in grade 7 or 8, so I was probably 12 or 13.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like I know that they say that past harm can also like meet the threshold for persecution, which can qualify you for asylum. But I just don't know, like, if overall my case is like strong enough to qualify me, and then it's the issue of my lawyer and his, like, I don't feel like I'm getting enough help. But then also I can't really change because like I don't have the financial resource to like switch lawyers right now.
Yeah, that's tough. So it's sort of up to you, is what you're saying.
Yes, like I'm basically doing all the work that I think he should be doing. But yeah, and then what's it? When I'm in like 10 situations, I probably won't look. You just see like I'm talking to you. No, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking away. I do things like that, and I may not be fluent when I'm talking. So I'm wondering if that would like affect my credibility.
I mean, you might say at the beginning, I mean, it depends on the officer. Some officers sense that you're nervous and they press that, but most officers, especially asylum officers, are trained to understand that, to, if I'm you and I would say, hey, listen, just so you know, at the start of this interview, I'm nervous. And when I get nervous, I sort of look around the room. I have a hard time looking people in the eye. It's mostly because I'm scared of going back to Jamaica and I'm scared of losing this case. So if I'm not looking directly at you and you need me to, just tell me. I'll do my best to do that. I'll try to focus and answer your questions as directly as I can. I think if somebody opened up, if I'm an asylum officer and somebody opens up with that, I'm feeling pretty trustworthy of that person.
Okay. I'm just like literally writing what you're saying. And you answered my question about the New York office.
They don't play. New York Asylum Office, they don't play.
It's intense.
It's intense. Yep.
Really?
Sorry to say. I mean, they're all tough.
Whoa.
Newark is a little tough.
Really? Okay.
But remember, Corey, you never know which officer you're going to get. So you could be in the nicest office in America and get the worst officer, or you could be in the worst office and get a nice officer. So I wouldn't spend too much time worrying about that.
Right. And it's like preparing also is helping me to be more confident in terms of like responding to the questions directly.
I'll tell you the one other question I always ask people for asylum that might help you. And you should check out all our videos. We probably have a bunch of videos on asylum stuff at the interview. If not, I could do another one. But in any event, the one question I always say is, what would happen to Corey if Corey got dropped in the middle of Kingston right now and through some way people figured out within 30 minutes that you were gay? What would happen?
I will be mob attacked.
Okay. So that's the answer. That's the question you need to focus on. That's the kind of stuff you want to be having your friends. And then the next question is, by who? How do you know? What evidence do you have? Or why do you think that?
They may ask this question?
Oh, sure, buddy. For sure.
Really? Whoa. Okay.
Oh, sure. So to that end, you seem like a pretty smart and resourceful person. If you did your own independent research, over the next 2 months or so and educated yourself almost like an authority on how same-sex people are treated in Jamaica, you can have knowledge based on your own life, but you can also have knowledge as a Jamaican citizen who wants to stay in the United States. Like, you can educate yourself. Like, you could, like, let's say they start pushing you. Hey, Corey, how do you know this is even going to happen? You all that ever happened was your mom hit you with a broom. Other than that, nothing bad really happened to you. How do you know this is going to happen? You can say, well, motherfucker, on April 23rd, 2024, I have this news report that this mob beat the shit out of this lady because she was a lesbian. Like you can do that.
I didn't know that I could do that, but that's okay. That's good to know. What was it? One of my last questions is like, if I'm denied, I'm probably going to get referred to the immigration court.
Correct.
And I don't think I'll be able to like afford my attorney going forward, because like in the current retainer, he says like if the case isn't approved, his services will change from being whatever I paid to $300 an hour. Like,
right.
I work $18 an hour, so I definitely can't afford him. So I'll probably have to go pro bono. So I'm like literally calling pro bono firms now, preparing for that possibility. Do you think it's a good idea to use a pro bono firm to like go to that final stage in the process, supposedly final stage?
That's the whole shooting match. I would spend 90% of your time right now on trying to win at immigration.
Okay. I mean, because like I'm totally 50-50 about this whole thing. With my lawyer's help, with my lawyer's help, with the errors in the affidavits, and then my whole nerves. These three things are really just like freaking me out and making me feel like I'm probably going to get denied. Plus, you just said the New York office is like intense.
It's all right. They're all intense. Listen. Send me a copy of your application. I'll take a look at it. Okay, just send it to me.
Okay. Thank you so much. Like,
hey, buddy.
You've been really helpful. Thank you so much.
You got it. Call of the day for sure. I'd go to bat with Corey any day of the week. Any day of the week. Munzir's been waiting a while. Hi, Munzir.
Hi there, Jim. Thank you so much.
Sure,
I'll
buddy.
make it quick. I know we're at the end of the show. Thank you so much again. I have a question regarding the N400, specifically under the 5-year rule, and more specifically, two things: the continuous residence and the physical presence. Done my research, everything I can, but if you can please tell me about the continuous residence. I know that for trips under 6 months, usually you are deemed to not have broken continuous residence.
Yeah.
But it also says that there are instances where the officer can assume that you have broken the continuous residence for multiple trips under 6 months. Because I'm planning on naturalizing as fast as possible for the first 2 years. I won't be able to stay as much. I'm getting a re-entry.
So, when you have your re-entry permit, how long do you think your longest trip will be?
I can be in the U.S. once every 2 weeks if I have to. I don't know.
Well, okay. When did you? What problem are you trying to fix? Let's forget all the rules.
Sure.
Tell me what you're trying to fix, and then we can talk.
Sure thing. So just to give you the general idea, when I'm becoming a green card holder in a matter of a couple of months, hopefully soon, because my interview is coming up. I'm planning to naturalize as fast as possible, but I still need to spend 2 years to finish my school outside the U.S. But I can still commute.
What's the basis of your green card?
Diversity visa.
Okay, got it. So you're in the United States. You're in the United States, and you're going to adjust that.
No. Consular processing.
Okay, so you won the DV. You're going to process. You're going to get your green card, and then you're going to get a reentry permit because you got to wrap shit up back in the home country. Got it. Okay, so you're right that the general rule is 6 months. You're also right that an officer can say, "Look, dude, you came to the United States. You grabbed that green card. You went back home, or you filed for your entry permit. You went back home for 10 months, or went back home for 6 months, or you were out of the United States for 10 out of 12 months. The reentry permit will keep you from losing your green card, but I would take the position that you shouldn't even consider the clock towards citizenship as starting until you actually reside here, because that's the fundamental problem. If you're residing in your old country, and like this is a known thing in DV cases specifically, also in like cases where like I apply for my brother and his old 20-year-old kid comes and gets a green card, and they have to finish up, or they have to go get married or stuff. So what I've seen in these situations is people apply for citizenship and USCIS says that you didn't really begin residing until you really began residing, right? And so really, if I'm you, I would say to myself, I'd really like to become a citizen, but I also really need to get this degree. So you've got to pick which one's more important. And then once you make that decision, if you pick school, then you got to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to keep my green card. I'm going to get my reentry permit, but I'm not really going to be able to apply for citizenship until 2 years from now, which means it's actually going to be 7 years for me.
Exactly. He did the math for me. So either 5 years without the degree or 7 years with the degree, but not both at the same time.
Yeah. There is that rule that says if you've had a trip of more than a year, that you can apply 4 years in 1 day. So you might, when the time comes, look at that rule a little bit more carefully to see if it also would cover the situation we just talked about, but I don't think that it does. But we would check for sure.
Gotcha. Because it says trips less than 6 months. So if I come visit every like 1 month or so, I would still technically would have maintained continuous residence. Because as long as I come back to the US less than 6 months, I'm still maintaining it. But you know, it's just,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jim. That's all. Thank you so much again.
Everybody. Yeah, for
Have a good
sure.
one.
All right. Another good show, everybody. Sorry for everybody we didn't get to. Yeah, Rocio's right. She said she saw a case where a guy got denied because he applied a little past 12 a.m. I think we had that on this show too. But yeah, you always got to be a little bit careful. Don't apply too early. That'd be a good TikTok. Tomorrow, episode 648, 12 p.m. Central. 12 p.m. Central. We'll be back. If you want to be the first one in the waiting room, text the word show. Look at Huli. Look how fast she is. She knows what I'm going to say before I even say it. 314-470-3300. Text the word show to 314-470-3300. Hey, and the other day, I haven't asked lately, but if you want to leave us a 5-star review, just go to review. Let's see if we can get this one up. Reviewhackinglaw.com. Reviewhackinglaw.com. Leave us a 5-star review. Oh, look at her. Look at that. We'd really appreciate it. We've been able to challenge some of our negative reviews lately, and that makes me very happy. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at noon. Bye, guys.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.